guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, welcome to my channel. So for today's video, we're gonna be doing a full face of dupes. So I'm gonna do half of my face using all high-end makeup, and then the other half is going to be all drugstore makeup products. So I've tried all of these products individually, but never side by side. So today we're gonna put them to the ultimate test, and I'm also gonna wear them all day and then check back in with you guys in a few hours so we can see how the products wear, because I feel like that is usually the ultimate test, because a product can look like a dupe, but like how it wears throughout the day tells everything. So I hope you guys enjoy. We're just gonna get straight into it, so make sure you grab a snack, get cozy, and let's test out a full face of dupes. Okay, so we are starting off, of course, with primer first. I have some really good dupes here. So for the high-end primer, I have the Urban Decay Ultra Glow Face Primer. This is a really good primer. It's basically just gonna add some hydration to your skin and help to prolong your makeup. So when you apply it, it's really just gonna moisturize your skin and leave it feeling a little bit tacky, which is good because then your makeup will adhere and last all day. So this is a really good primer, but the dupe that I have, I feel like is just as good as the high-end version. So I have two here that could work, and they're both under $10. The first one is the e.l.f. Mint Melt Cooling Face Primer. This is really good and a really great alternative to the Urban Decay one, the consistency, the texture. And then I also have the Hard Candy 12-Hour Makeup Grip Primer. This is also really good. It's a little bit more hydrating than the e.l.f. one, but it still gives you the same exact finish and effect. So today I'm going to use this one, and this is also a good dupe for the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer, which is another favorite, but they're all very similar primers. So I'm going to start with the high-end one first, and I'm going to do my left side, which is going to be your right. So this is what it looks like. Like I said, it's like a gel, but it's really, really nice and hydrating, and I'm just going to put this on pretty much everywhere. By the way, as I go, I am going to be using different makeup brushes and sponges, so just a little FYI. And then on the other side, like I said, I'm going to go in with the Hard Candy one. Really, the biggest difference with this is that this one has a little bit of a green tint, but when you apply it, it does dry clear. Like, it's not going to leave a green tint on your skin. I don't know if you guys can tell, but my skin's a little tacky, which is what we want. And I always recommend letting your primer sit before going into the foundation, maybe for like 2 minutes or so, just so that it can really absorb and do what they're supposed to do. For the high-end foundation, I have the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue foundation. I love this foundation. It has great coverage, it's super long wearing, and it has a really comfortable matte finish. And I'm in the shade Light Medium 115, so I love this one, and I feel like if you have oily skin or even combo skin, you will love that one as well, even if you have dry skin, because it's not drying at all. For the dupe, I have the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation, and I have this one in the shade Medium Olive. This kind of gives me a similar effect. It has a really nice, comfortable matte finish, great coverage, and it's also super long wearing. It's really pretty on the skin, and I just love the coverage of it. The NYX one is slightly more matte than the Dose of Colors one, but they both have very similar finishes. And really the biggest difference probably today is going to be the undertones of the foundations, because there might be a little bit different, but let's test them out and see how they look. I'm gonna do Dose of Colors first. Oh my gosh, that kind of looks like a heart a little bit, doesn't it? Like the way it went on my nose. Oh, that's so cute. Anyways, I have this sponge here from Flutter and Love. I'm just gonna blend this in. This foundation looks good with a sponge or with a brush, either or. It's really easy to blend. Like I said, it has great coverage too. Okay, so that is Dose of Colors. Now for the other side, we're gonna do the NYX. I think if you have a really oily skin, you would love this foundation because it's such a pretty matte finish. And these days, I don't really wear a lot of matte foundations that much anymore because I don't really like the feeling of them, but this one's super comfortable and it's not drying on my skin. So you can see it's a little bit more on the matte side than the one from Dose of Colors, but very similar as far as like the coverage and the way that it wears throughout the day. Like, it reminds me a lot. Every time I wear this, I'm like, it kind of reminds me of the Dose of Colors one. So today we'll see how it wears, but I feel like it's a good alternative for sure. All right, foundation is on both sides, looking really good. Like I said, the finishes and the colors might be a little bit different throughout the video, but it's looking good. All right, now for concealer. This is another, I think, really good dupe that I feel like is gonna be an exact dupe. I have the Tarte Ultra Creamy Concealer. I like this one so much more than the original Shape Tape. I feel like it's a lot more hydrating and just looks better on the under eyes overall. It's just not as dry and matte as the original. And then for the dupe, I have the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. Same with this. I like this one more than the original because it's a little bit more creamy and just more hydrating for my under eyes personally, but it still has really great coverage. So in the e.l.f. one, I'm in the shade Medium Peach, and then in the one from Tarte, I'm in the shade Medium Sand. So I'm gonna start with this eye first. This one's really easy to work with too, which I really like. This concealer from Tarte also reminds me of the new one from Anastasia because it's very hydrating, creamy, and it has medium to buildable coverage. So I feel like it's a good everyday concealer. But the e.l.f. one has been my ride or die. Honestly, since it came out, I've loved this concealer since like the beginning of last year. It's so good and it's so affordable. I'm gonna apply the same amount that I did. It's such a seamless formula on the skin. Like, I love the way that this looks. All right, now we have some cream products, which I'm super excited about. Now for cream bronzer, I have this one from the brand Saie. I got this from Sephora, and this is the Sun Melt Natural Cream Bronzer, and mine's in the shade Light Bronze. I've been testing out a couple different high-end cream bronzers, and this is not my favorite. It's not bad. It's definitely doable, but it's not my favorite. I've been loving the one from Anastasia a little bit more. And then for the dupe, I have the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer, and the reason I chose this is because just like the high-end one, the Putty Bronzer is very natural, but it's buildable. But when you first apply it, it's not gonna be super intense, but you can still build it up to get more color on your skin, but it gives you a natural bronzy look. And this is the case where honestly, I like the drugstore version more than the high-end one. So for the high-end side, I'm gonna use the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Complexion Brush. I'm gonna dip in here. You can see it's pretty pigmented, but it's super natural on the skin. It's nice though, I will say. It's just, I feel like for what it is and like for how expensive it is, I would just go with the drugstore option personally. But it is really pretty though. This formula is also a little bit more on the dry side, so just something to keep in mind. You might have to go in with your finger and kind of like massage the product in to get it to be sort of creamy before going in with the brush. Now for the drugstore side, like I said, I'm gonna use 2 different shades. So obviously sizing is a big factor in price as well. The one from e.l.f. you get much less product. I'm just comparing the two. But I'm more so duping the formula and just like the way that the product looks. I feel like the one from e.l.f. is slightly also creamier, like even just looking at them in the pan. Like I feel like the one from Saie Cosmetics can be a little bit on the more dry side, but the e.l.f. one is super creamy. I love this one. So I'm gonna use this shade and then I'm gonna dip into a little bit of this darker color as well. And then for this side, I have another really great dupe. This is a brush from e.l.f. It's the Complexion Duo brush. This is such a good brush for foundation, cream bronzer, cream blush. And just to compare to the IT Cosmetics one, you can see they are so similar. The concealer side on the IT Cosmetics one is a little bit fluffier than the one from e.l.f., but honestly this brush is $48 and this one's only like $8. So you could get this brush like 5 times and it's still cheaper than the IT Cosmetics one. So go with the e.l.f. one, to be honest, they're the same thing. I'm just gonna press this in, and I love this brush because it just makes it so easy to work with the cream products. They just blend so effortlessly. You don't really have to do much. All right, now for blush, I'm gonna go in with the Tower 28 Beach Please Rush Hour cream blush. I really love these cream blushes. They are so beautiful. Finish is really nice and they have really great colors. This one is more of like the orangey coral shade. Love this color for summer and even for fall. I think it's really pretty. But the dupe that I have, I feel like not enough people talk about these cream blushes and they're so good. This is the Believe Beauty Color Me Cream Blush in Tropical Sunset. Now this one is slightly brighter, whereas the one from Tower 28 is a little bit more on the deep side. And I will admit the one from Tower 28 is a lot more creamy than this one from Dollar General, but this one is so good and pigmented, and it's gonna give your skin a little bit more of like a soft matte finish, but the colors are so similar, and this blush is a great option for under $5. And if you want a good like corally, orangey, peachy cream blush, this is it. Super pigmented. My little hairs are getting on my nerves. Apply that and then kind of blend that in a little bit. Gives you a really pretty color, and then of course the more that you add, the more pigment you're gonna get on your cheeks, so it is definitely buildable. And then for the other side, I'm gonna go in with the same brush that I was using from e.l.f., and I am spot cleaning these also as I go. The pigment is so crazy on these, so definitely be careful because it's a really intense color, so less is more, and it's so much easier to work with a product when you're using less product versus trying to blend out a lot at a time. So that is what both of them look like. The one up top is the one from Tower 28. You can see it's a little bit darker, and then the one on the bottom is Believe Beauty, and it's brighter but similar kind of tones. Now for powder, I'm gonna go in with the One Size Ultimate Setting Powder. This is the translucent one. I used this powder a couple times. It's not my absolute favorite, like holy grail, but from what I can remember, it wasn't like a terrible powder. I think it can be a little bit drying though if you use too much. And then for the drugstore side, I've talked about this powder before, but I was looking through my powders and I feel like this is a very underrated powder. This is the No. 7 Translucent Light Perfect Light Powder. So I'm gonna use my sponge for these powders. The one from Patrick Star is nice, though I will say it is very smoothing. Now on the other side, let's try out this No. 7 powder. You could also bake with this powder as well, and it's one of my favorites. I feel like this is underrated. Like I don't hear like really anybody talking about this powder, but it's really, really good. And this one also looks good in pictures. I've been using this for a few years, like since I was in college, and it's one of my favorite translucent powders. Okay, now for bronzer dupes, I have two that I wanted to mention. The first one for the high end, I have the Ilia Drawn In Nightlight Bronzing Powder. This is a really nice, natural, everyday powder. I think this is also great if you are more light, like fair skin, and you want something a little bit warm that's not too orange. This is a really great bronzer. It's matte, so you could use it to contour, to use it for your nose contour, like pretty much anything. It's a great bronzer. But the e.l.f. Primer Infused bronzers are really good. This one in Forever Sunkissed is bomb, and similar kind of undertone. This one is also matte, great for contouring. It has a slight warm undertone, but it's not too much. And then I wanted to shout this out. This is a little bit pricier of a dupe, but still wanted to mention it. So you guys know I love the Fenty Instant Warmth bronzer. The one that I have currently is in Private Island. It's a little bit darker than the shade that I normally use, but this is such a good high-end bronzer. It's one of my favorites. But if you want a good alternative to this, because I don't remember exactly how much it is, but I know it's pricey, Juvia's Place has these bronzer duos. They're like $18, but you do get two. So it's basically like, you know, $9 each when you think about it. Two great size bronzers in here, and the undertone to especially this one is so similar to the one from Fenty. Even on the skin and everything, they look so similar, but it's great because with this one you get two. So I wanted to mention that because I feel like that's a really good dupe as well, but I'm going to use the Ilia one today because I always use the Fenty bronzer. Now for blush, one of my favorite high-end blushes are from Jouer. I just really like the formula and just like the way that they look on the skin. They're so pretty. So this is a really pretty duo, the Cheeky Summer Blush Duo from Jouer. Kind of like a bronzy, kind of like peachy, like everyday type of like bronzy peach color. So that is what the duo looks like. So up top we have both of the shades mixed, and then on the bottom we have the lighter blush and then the more darker bronzy blush. So that is what they look like right there. So for the dupe, I have an Essence blush, and Essence blushes are some of my favorites, especially for the price. They're like under $5. This one, by the way, is in the shade Bespoke, and these are the blushes, like that's literally what they're called. So I feel like the Essence one looks more of a dupe, especially swatched when you mix both of the Jouer blushes together. So up top I have the Jouer duo mixed, and then on the bottom I have the Essence blush in the shade Bespoke. I like them too because they're gonna give you that bronze flush, but there's also a little bit of a sheen to them. So normally whenever I use blushes like this, sometimes I won't even use highlighter because I feel like the glowy finish of the blush will gives you kind of like that highlighter look as well. So yeah, I really like these though. These are very nice if you do want to splurge. I think the Jouer blushes are awesome, but the Essence blushes are amazing, and for how affordable they are, they're also super long wearing. So I'm gonna mix both of these together, top off the excess. And I tried to pick blushes that kind of go with like the cream blushes as well. And I feel like this is a good option with the cream. And you don't need a lot also to get like that color payoff. They're very pigmented. But this Essence blush though is everything. It's one of my favorites for every day, especially for the fall time, because it's just like that perfect undertone. And I'm just gonna apply this with a different brush. This one, by the way, is from Half Caked. It's the Duo Fiber brush. I just washed all my brushes last night and this feels so soft. we're almost done. We have highlighter and setting spray. So for highlighter, on the high-end side, I have the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Glow highlighter, and this one is in I Need a Nude Glow. This is such a pretty golden highlighter. The packaging, everything on this is beautiful. It's a very wet highlighter, so it's gonna make your skin look wet. That is the swatch right there. It's so pretty. It's also a good inner corner highlight as well. So I'm gonna pop that on the tops of the cheekbone. Do a little bit on like this side of my nose. It's really smooth though. I will say this is very nice. Now for the drugstore side, I have this one from e.l.f. and this one is the 24 karat gold highlighter. I love this highlighter. I've used this also for a few years. The one from e.l.f. is up top. It's a little bit more on the gold side, whereas the one from Natasha Denona is a little bit lighter, but I like the e.l.f. one because it's very like just wet. It's not super powdery. And then on this side, I'm gonna use the AOA Studio F19 brush. I've had this brush for like 4 or 5 years and it's so good. See, like the e.l.f. highlighter is really nice as well, and it's smooth. I'm gonna put both of these in the inner corners as well. So I'm gonna use the e.l.f. highlighter on the inner corners, and I'll also pop that in the brow bone as well because my eyes are so simple. And then we will do Natasha Denona also on this side. So I have to finish up my lower lashes and lips, but I'm just gonna set my makeup really quick. So for the high-end setting spray, I have the Ultra Glow setting spray from Urban Decay. Okay, I'm gonna use my Mean Girls palette here, and I'm gonna spray this side of my face. The setting spray is nice. I like the spritzer on it, and it does give your skin a little bit of a natural glow while also making your makeup last all day, but the dupe is my favorite. For the dupe, I have the e.l.f. Dewy Coconut Spray. This is so good. I like it because it gives you a really light dew. It's nothing like too intense. Again, also makes your makeup last all day, and this one smells like coconut, so it's very pleasant, very light. All right, you guys, so I finished up the rest of my makeup. I did just lower lash mascara, and I wanted to mention this new mascara from Rare Beauty is so good. I'm so impressed with it. I started using it like just 2 days ago, and I really love it. It's great for lengthening. It doesn't flake. So I've been loving this one so far. And for my lips, I'm wearing the LA Girl Perfect Precision Lip Liner in the shade Café. And then I top that off with the Velvet Matte Liquid Lipstick from Believe Beauty in the shade Charmed. And then, I know, so extra, but I love a good glossy lip, and I used the Tower 28 Shine On Lip Jelly in the shade Cashew. I love the way everything looks. If we're looking like side by side, like I don't think anybody would be able to tell, like if you didn't know that I just filmed this video, that I have different products on both sides of my face. I think they look great. The dupes look really good. You know, a couple things might be a little bit different as far as like the undertones and the colors, but overall there isn't like a huge difference between the two, which is essentially the goal with these videos. And I did take a photo with flash. I turned off my ring lights and it looks really good. So both of the powders are definitely great with flash photos. There's no edits on this picture, by the way. It's just straight from the iPhone. I mean, it's not a cute photo, but it passed the flash test, so that's all that matters. So yeah, I'm gonna go decorate the house for fall, vlog, get some stuff done, get some other work done, and then I'll check back in with you guys in a few hours and let you know how everything is looking. Hey guys, I'm back. It is a little after 7 right now, and this is what everything is looking like. I have not touched up, by the way. I just ate dinner and I reapplied my lip color, but haven't touched the rest of my face. I am so impressed, you guys. I don't really notice a huge difference. Like everything is still on my face. The only thing is there is a little bit of fading around my nose, but I feel like that's always inevitable because I get allergies and I'm always using a tissue and stuff throughout the day. So that usually doesn't really bother me. Plus it's like not that much. I think everything else still looks really good. I mean, the foundation is a little oily on both sides on my forehead, so I could probably use a little bit of a touch up, but it's nothing crazy. I've definitely been way more oily on the forehead, so doesn't look too bad. The cheek products are all beautiful and still in place. So let me know what you guys think down below, but I think we have some really good dupes here. So definitely check these out if you're in the market for some new drugstore makeup, or if you just want to try out some bomb products in general. I love a lot of these more high-end products as well. Don't get me wrong, they're great, but I know not everybody wants to spend a lot of money on makeup sometimes, or like $30 on one makeup product. So that's why I love doing these videos, just to show you guys that you can get a really beautiful makeup look using affordable products. And let me know if there's any other products you guys want me to dupe or test out in upcoming dupes videos. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.